Okay. Her question is if Gucci has a predefined consumer segment that they focus on. However, okay, if you personally think or your group personally thinks that that consumer segment is not the most appropriate segment, can you change that? My answer to that is definitely yes. Now, before you continue to ask questions, let me give you some briefing as well. With luxury brands, you really have to know that different luxury brands have very different missions. So when you go to the website, there should be some indication, okay, of what they are trying to achieve with the brand. Okay, as I mentioned in class, right? LV is more about exploration, adventure, right? So what is Gucci about? I'll leave that for you to think. I will also advise you to visit retail stores of Gucci, especially the flagship stores in Hong Kong, and stay there for a good couple of hours to feel what is it like to be a Gucci customer. Who are they? Use your iPhone, your smartphones to take pictures of these people, right? Then you can actually visualize this on your PowerPoint when you present it. That's more convincing than telling me that Gucci's customer is probably 25 to 45, mid-aged woman, blah, blah, blah. You have a picture right in front of me. What do you mean? Okay. Let me tell you something. A lot of students, when they do final projects, they often think that only numbers tell. That is very wrong. If you think that Gucci is facing a particular issue, and if you can visualize it or capture a piece of evidence on photo or video that will show me that Gucci is facing this issue, show it. Okay, I'm not an academic, so I don't need it to be necessary numbers and statistics. How many of you have ever been to Gucci stores in here? Okay, so at least we have some. So for those of you who have never been to a Gucci store, you better start getting your ass moving. Okay? Because you need to experience that. Now let me tell you something else. When you make in-store visits to Gucci, because all the luxury brand stores are nearby, go into some of these other competitor stores and feel the difference. The way of window display, their staff and service, okay, and how they actually shelf the products. These are very important symbols of what Gucci or its competitors represent in terms of a brand.
What's the status of Gucci's fragrance in his BCG matrix?
Okay. The question is, what is the state, guys? Listen, for those of you, even if you're not doing fragrance, her question is, what is the status, okay, of fragrance, okay, within Gucci at this moment? Does anybody know in here? Fragrance 嘅情況，而家喺 Gucci 究竟係乜嘢情況先？係一個冇人睇、冇人買嘅嘢啊，定係個個爭住買嘅嘢嚟嘅先？唔會爭住買嚟啊！好多人排隊，但係咪買 fragrance 先？重點喺呢度。咁嗱，你哋要答 ，OK？So their answer, okay, is actually that no, people are not lining up for Gucci fragrance.
I don't answer.
Right, but then let me answer your question now. In essence, the position of fragrance in Gucci, it's more like a product symbol, okay, or a product extension, okay, of Gucci's branding. It's not really a product yet.
I mean, in Boston Consulting, BCG matrix, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know whether it is a star or a quadrant or.
Okay, the question is according to the Boston Consulting Group's model, right? The growth share matrix. If you guys still recall that from my lecture, right? Which of the grid does Gucci now fall into in terms of fragrance? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Right? So let's hear it. Okay, let me ask you this. Because the growth share matrix have two axes, okay? One is the relative market share The other one is the market growth potential, right?
Yeah.
So for fragrance, what is the market growth like right now? Just by common sense. In Hong Kong. That means that, okay, let me give you this hint now. In Hong Kong, because of Sasa, thanks to Sasa, the fragrance market is not growing, it's shrinking.
Thanks to what?
Sasa.
What is that?
Sasa is a chain outlet store that sells cheap, underpriced, outdated luxury brand items, such as fragrance.
Okay.
Right? I think I gave that a very concise definition. It's a cheap way of getting luxury brands, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's the status of fragrance right now. The growth is not going to grow. Okay? Because of why? Because there are now reports, medical reports, saying that if you're overexposed to fragrances of, let's say, overly strong alcohol composition, okay, then it actually harms your respiratory systems in the long run. Okay? Because of that inhalation. So, but most people don't give a shit. Okay? This is just medical fact. Most people don't give a shit. Right? So then you have to ask yourself, of the many, many fragrances right now, what is so special about Gucci's fragrance that makes 1, 2, 3 groups want to do Gucci fragrance? There must be something special about it, right? Okay, his answer is the other products are too common. It's too easily replaceable. But so is fragrance. There are so many female fragrance out there. Really.
Once you fall in love with more aroma, you cannot get away with it.
Yeah, but is that aroma that alluring and that addictive? Let me ask you this, okay? Guys, this applies to you as well, okay, and ladies. When you buy fragrance, okay, let's say you buy brand A, okay, this month. After you finish using it, you have the strongest temptation to try out another brand. Rarely would you stick to one brand and keep it for your life. Okay, maybe some people do, but this is not the mass. So there must be a reason behind this fragrance purchasing habit, right? What is it about fragrance? Fragrance was never intended, okay, to be stable, to be LTR, the so-called long-term relationship, or long-term oriented. It was supposed to be a one-time thing. I pass by you, I smell good, you look at me, done. Right? That's fragrance. Or, if you smell like a piece of shit and you want to cover it up, you use fragrance. But then, if you are a fragrance user, okay, like myself, then you will know that the longer you use the same fragrance, the less effective it becomes on your body odor. It does. So gradually you will change the fragrance.
Is it normal to use fragrance around in Asia and China?
Oh yes it is.
Okay.
Oh yes it is. Especially women. That's why brands like L'Occitane and what's the other brand that does body sprays are thriving because of this phenomenon.
I want to know what's our destination in our final project. I mean, it's a long-term goal or a short-term goal.
Well, it depends on your product. Okay, her question is, for the purpose of your project, right, are we trying to achieve a long-term goal or a short-term goal? And my answer is, it depends on what product you are focusing on. If you are focusing on condoms, so much for long-term, right?
I mean, if our final project is just a part of 就是我们的那个这个案子只是为我们的 long term goal 服务的，但并不能实现我们的 long term goal， 因为我们 long term goal 也许是要很多年来实现的。就是那是我们是要做这样的，就是说我们如果确立一个 long term goal 的话，我们的案子只能为它以短期服务，这个 OK 吗？
Okay. Let me rephrase her question. Her question is that if you have in mind, okay, for your project, a very long-term goal, a far-away goal, how much in your project do you have to cover in order to meet the requirements of this final project? My answer to you is, instead of setting a very wide and long-term goal, set a shorter one, closer one, so that your objectives are met with your campaign.
Got it.
Yeah?
how
How long? 1 quarter of a year.
Okay. Her question is because some of you might want to be doing branding for Gucci within Asia or within Hong Kong per se, and her question is wondering, can we actually localize it or adapt the branding strategies, okay, from their global head offices, okay? Based on my experience with Gucci, no. They have very, very rigid branding guidelines, okay, as to what you can do and what you can't. And they will never allow you to do something that they have never, ever, ever used before, such as an Asian celebrity. I think this guy has this guy's very smart. You guys better listen to this question. This is a very important question. There is a scenario within Gucci stores in Hong Kong right now where most of the buyers are not from Hong Kong. They're from mainland China. Okay? This is a reality. This is not even an assumption. His question is now, if you do marketing or do branding, should you be doing it within the Hong Kong area or Hong Kong context, or should you be doing or focusing on the China context? My response to this question is, you should always focus it on Hong Kong and Hong Kong only, because mainland people came to Hong Kong to buy luxury brands because it's in Hong Kong. There is Gucci stores in China, but nobody goes to them. There is a reason behind that. They don't think that the Gucci stores in China is as good as the one in Hong Kong. It's silly thinking, but this is the case.
I know you.
Yes.
But the VAT is part of the tax is part of the reason. I don't think that.
It's not just the money, because imagine a typical PRC customer goes into a Gucci store and buy probably, 100,000 worth of bags. Why would they give a damn about the tax when they have that kind of money? They care about whether it is the absolute genuine product, whether the status of the brand is in its entirety. Okay, that means you don't lose any status by buying it from Hong Kong versus China, right? And also because in China, you have this fear, that there is counterfeit items, fake items, that is. That's why they come to Hong Kong to buy milk powder, buy all those SK2s, But most of these products are made in China, right? It's very funny, but this is their mentality. So does that answer your question?
之前的想的就是这样。Yeah, we have researched the data. Yeah.
I have some data that it was conducted last year that the whole market share growth in Hong Kong about the luxury goods is just a growth of 1%.
Okay.
Just 1%.
This group is now sharing confidential, private information with you guys, so listen carefully. They found a research study from last year saying that the entire market of luxury goods, the growth rate was only by 1%. Okay, this is a very recent study, and I know exactly what study you're referring to as well. So, what was the question now? So now that you have this result, what was the question?
So because you have in last questions you have choose Hong Kong market as our target market, but we know that 1% isn't big enough for us, especially when comparing with other like watch, like jewelries or anything else for mainlanders.
Okay, having that said, now that you know that it's growing only by 1%, do you know what is actually the percent? The growth is 1%, right? But what is the percent, the original percent?
You mean the composition with product?
No. When you say 1%, it's only describing the growth. But what is the base percent? Now, additional information for you guys who haven't done research yet. The luxury market in Hong Kong is going to boom. Boom means increase. Okay? This is now forecasted by the latest fashion trends firms. they do trend work for all the luxury brands. And because they realize this trend, they are now setting up different parts of Hong Kong to become luxury centers. They're even going to build a big mall very near, what's that place? Wan Chai Exhibition. They're now doing massive construction there. Okay? And part of that will be a luxury center because of the luxury growth in Hong Kong. 即係名牌店喺香港，因為好蓬勃，同埋好多人買，同埋嘅業績越嚟越好，同埋 forecast 出嚟都會係越嚟越高，所以咧而家淨起咗好多，將會起啦好大型嘅名牌嘅叫做或者名牌商場。所以咧，問翻佢哋頭先話1%嘅時候啦，其實呢個1%個 base rate 一定要好知道幾多，究竟係由70去到71啦，定係由0去到1%？咁而家我就頭先話俾你聽，其實因為個 market 本身 luxury brand 係而家係好蓬勃，所以就算 even grow 咗1%之後咧，其實可能個高即係個增長唔係好多，但可能佢係由80去到81咁樣，咁你其實嗰條水路都好勁㗎啦嘛已經。審慎香港咁啊！如果咩出嚟會係啊，Okay, good question. Her question now is that because Gucci has such rigid branding guidelines, okay, from global head offices, but however, we are focusing on Hong Kong market. Will there be inconsistent or inappropriate branding messages or product marketing messages, okay, as a result of this? I can tell you that yes and no, okay, for one reason. Yes, because some of the messages may not be relevant to the local Chinese. But if you ask yourself very carefully, right, do Chinese people buy luxury brands because of the message that they convey? Or is it because of the prestige of holding that goddamn Gucci latest bag to a party? I mean, ladies, you should know better than I do, right? So the problem is how you communicate or what you communicate is not really the essence. The essence right now, or the problem that Gucci is facing now, is it's losing its market share to other luxury brands. Your task now, okay, if you're doing branding, is to move that share back. And if you're doing very specific products, then you need to find out if some of the bags offered by Gucci are actually in direct conflict with the other bags from the other luxury brands.
So you're really meaning Prada is his biggest competitor, or
no? I'm using Prada only as an example. Yes. And even within luxury brands, there is so-called a band 1, band 2, band 3, band 4, band 5 luxury brands. So you need to consider very carefully what Gucci is actually really competing with. You also need to go and look at where the retail locations is to identify what their strategy is. Because retail is everything when it comes to location. Right? So you can actually pick up a lot of hidden information from these very subtle things. The second thing you might want to consider is the brand color, okay, of Gucci versus Dior. Okay? There are very, very sharp differences. Why? Third of all, when you go into the in-store to visit Gucci and the other brands, look very carefully at who is going in and actually buying versus who is actually going in and window shopping. You also notice very subtle differences between these two people and between different stores. For those of you who are not doing fragrance, okay, who are doing handbags, okay, or other accessory products, okay, be very careful if it is one product or a product line that you want to market. The reason why I'm saying this is if it's only one product, is the revenue, okay, or the forecasted revenue from that one bag justify a full marketing campaign? Or will the entire product line justify a full marketing campaign? And for those of you who are doing fragrance, okay, listen to me carefully. look at the previous marketing executions, okay, of other luxury brands for doing fragrance. Successful ones like JPG. The really successful one would be the one with the man and the female body, the JPG. Anybody saw that before? Jean-Paul Gaultier. Yes? The man body and the female body. That is the most successful fragrance launch I've ever seen. Okay, so look at what they did for fragrance if you are doing fragrance. I can also tell you one very bad example of fragrance marketing, which is D&G, Dolce & Gabbana. It is the shittiest campaign I've ever seen. So have a look at what they did. And you also have to realize, okay, that buyers of Gucci or customers or existing customers of Gucci, even if they buy the bags, they will not necessarily buy the fragrance. So you have to be very careful what you look at in terms of consumer segment. And also you have to look at whether Sasa, okay, or places like Sasa or Bonjour, okay, will actually carry Gucci fragrance. If it doesn't, it should tell you something. Because Sasa and Bonjour and all those stupid outlets that sell all these cheap luxury brands reflect consumers' needs and wants. So if they don't sell it, just like pirate CDs, right? If the pirate CD does not exist, that means your CD sucks, right? Because nobody wants it. Why would I want to produce a fake version of it if nobody wants it? So if you pay attention to those Sasa outlets and Bonjour outlets, you will know a bit about Gucci fragrance, where it stands right now. Also look at the position in which Gucci places the product within the retail setting. Is it a flagship window product that they display, or is it somewhere in the middle of nowhere that they put your product? Then you will know relatively how important that product is to Gucci. Pay also attention to, okay, for those of you who are doing handbags, what is the purchase habit of handbags? What is the product life cycle of handbags? Do you buy a Gucci every week? What is the time frame? Okay, ladies, you should be able to tell me immediately. Okay, I'm a guy, so I know nothing about this. Well, it's up to you, okay? But it's questions for you to think about. And also, when you decide to buy a luxury brand handbag, where is the first place you get your information from? Well, that's also for you to think about. I'm not telling you. It's for you to think about. Look at also the typical media touch points of luxury brands. Which magazine are they typically advertising in? Right? I don't know if you still recall this, okay? But Nicole Kidman did a complete full 360 campaign for Dior. Okay? There was a very particular reason for that. If you can find out what that reason is, then you can easily choose a celeb to represent Gucci in 2012 or 2013. Okay? But you have to read these girlish cosmopolitan magazines in order to find out what is the latest gossip. Because about luxury brands, everything is about gossip. There must be talk value. If nobody wants to talk about it, then your brand is not successful. There is also another major trend for those of you who are doing either branding or product marketing, that for luxury brands, they are now taking business online. There are now online websites of luxury brands. Look at them. See what they are trying to do on these luxury brand websites. Okay, so let me rest for a while. Questions?
Talk about different products, the ROI of doing marketing on different products. So how do we know the return on investment of marketing different products? We can only know the importance the brand has attached to different products, but we don't know the return.
Okay, she asked a question, okay? When you look at the marketing materials for the products, for individual products, some of the advertisements may cover one or more products, some may focus on just one, some may be just branding. How do we calculate based on those marketing executions, right? Which products they focus on. As I mentioned just to you now, right? The retail setting will tell you a lot of information already. The marketing executions will only tell you, okay, the style and manner and the media touch points that they usually use to market something.
My question, we know how much importance they attach to different products, but how do we know whether this is cost effective to do marketing on certain products? The ROA, how do we know that?
Okay, with marketing for luxury brands, it was never about return on investment. It was never about that. It's about generating that noise, that publicity, that status. So if you calculate ROI, the ROI of Gucci's marketing will never compare to the ROI of the marketing for PCCW. Never. They spend more money doing marketing than all of the other brands.
So why do they focus on certain products?
They focus on certain products because those products have certain characteristics or certain innovations that represent the brand personality, the brand mission, or the brand goal. You see how LV, okay, in the flagship stores, they always put those huge luggage at the windows. Because that is one of the brand core personalities. Adventure, exploration. Those are the products that do not sell well at all. You rarely see people carry LV luggage case. But you will see a lot of ladies carrying their bags, their wallets, and all that. But why do they still not put those handbags and wallets on the front case windows? It's because the luggage is the brand symbol. That's how LV built its brand back in the good old days. Question answered?
Yeah.
Okay. Questions? You guys look kind of stoned, so how may I help you?
I want to. I think in fragrance there are so many kind of fragrance with different personalities.
Right.
Yeah, so how can we capture the deep one?
A certain one.
Yeah，就是和 Gucci 品牌风格就是这个东西很难关联起来，因为他们风格迥异，然后面向的受众群也不同，所以很难找到一个就是说和它的就是因为它这个香水的产品线也比较广，然后面向的受众也都是不同的。
Okay, for those of you who are actually doing fragrance or thinking about doing fragrance, listen to this question. Her question was, how do we determine whether the fragrance, right, represents, okay, appropriately a Gucci? How do we actually know that? Let's hear it. How do we find out this piece of information?
If we do research from the consumers, it's hard to say because different consumers have different tastes.
Okay, let me guide you now. Did you get my question? Okay, do you have an answer? Okay, let me give you two hints, okay? Two very useful hints. One is go to Business Source Complete and type luxury and branding. There's a lot of articles that talks about why luxury brands use fragrance to do branding. There are very specific reasons. Listen to me first. The other thing is when you look at the fragrance, okay, there are certain elements on the fragrance that can tell you what the brand is trying to use it for. Okay, the name, okay, will tell you something about why the fragrance is related to Gucci. So what's the name of the Gucci fragrance?
Flora by Gucci, Gucci by Gucci, Rush Glove, Mimi, Premier, blah blah blah.
So examine those names. Go to Wikipedia and type in those names. You will get a lot of associated terms, associated meanings. Look at that and look at Gucci. What can you think of? That's how we call brand associations.
To perfume, because as we all know, consumers choose perfume mostly dependent on the smell, not the brands, even the brands' names.
Right.
So I don't think it's very easy to establish a strong association between the brand and the product.
Okay. Okay, for those of you who are doing fragrance, hear me out again. Her question is that because most people buy fragrance of the smell and not for the brand, then how can people or people who buy Gucci's fragrance, right, associate the fragrance with the brand Gucci? How can you cause that to happen? Let me give you an example, right? Back to the good old days of Jean Paul Gaultier, okay? Their fragrance didn't smell any more different, okay, than the other fragrance. Jean Paul Gaultier, okay, the fragrance. But their campaign was very successful, not because of the smell, it was because of the bottle. The bottle, right? Jean Paul Gaultier. 一男一女的 The bottle.
是什么牌子？
Jean Paul Gaultier.
没听过。
没听过，没关系。Go to Zaza and find out. Or have someone use the iPhone and search it for you right now. You will see immediately.
Are you suggesting that the Hong Kong market, luxury market is booming because of the Chinese, mainland Chinese are coming to us? So we need to do a campaign in Hong Kong, but the message is targeted as the mainland Chinese.
Okay. Good question. Her question is now referring to what I just mentioned about how so many PRC customers are in Hong Kong to buy luxury brands. Then should we do our marketing focusing on Chinese people or Hong Kong people? The area of focus of the marketing should be Hong Kong. But the target consumers, who should they be? Hong Kong people or China people?
Both of them.
Let me rephrase this to make it easier for you guys. If you look at the Gucci ads and the campaigns all over the world, right? It doesn't tell you anything, okay, about how it relates to Chinese consumers, regardless of the fact that they are now buying crazily, okay, of luxury brands. This is a very unique situation when you do not market to your customers. You market your brand so that it feels foreign, so that your customer will buy it. This is luxury brand.即係你唔會，你身為一個大陸人，你唔會因為個 luxury brand 咧開始 target 你，整好多 image 係關於你嘅，而你會更加 buy 嗰隻 product 噶嘛？你可能分鐘唔買添啊！你覺得 cheap 晒啦已經。I'm just saying this in Chinese.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I'm just doing I can't.
Really like to nurture the Chinese market by setting the brand story.
Okay, her question is, do you need to nurture the Chinese market about brand stories, okay, or about the brand? My question is, consumers nowadays, especially people who are into status or buying for status, they are more curious than ever and they have multiple ways of searching for information. So my answer to that is no. It's not about an education anymore.
What about the product? Product is by movies, by the
Okay, if we already know that PRC customers in Hong Kong at least, okay, is buying the good majority of luxury brands. Have you ever seen them buy these luxury brand products? They don't go and look at this like Hong Kong people do. Open the wallet, look at it, if it's good to use. They go, okay, I want all of this. You should look at these customers. That's exactly what they do. I want 40 of these, 20 of these. Done. So that is a reality of luxury brands right now. So how will you market in light of this information that I'm giving to you?
You look so shocked.
但 luxury brand 呢個情況好特殊嘅。 Much. Okay, let me reframe. I think there's some misunderstanding now. Just because we're not marketing in the tone and manner for PRC customers doesn't mean that PR customers is not our target customers. They will still be our targets. It's just that the way we market will not be localized and adapted directly to PRC customers. 係啦，仲
我想講一個例子，LV 之前咧佢做過一個 campaign 咧，係有個船嘅，係聽完小龍，係一個包全係成 LV 嘅，再同一時間喺尖沙咀嘅文化中心嗰度咧，係搞咗一個 LV 嘅歷史嘅展覽。但係佢呢兩個 campaign 其實 suppose 佢都唔係對一班香港人有全個展覽嗰個展覽其實係邀請咗好多實際 local 嘅人。
啱，你講得冇錯。咁呢個情況其實同 Gucci 嘅情況，即係你將要做嘅 marketing 情況一模一樣。
即係佢都係。
Let me say this in Chinese and I'll say this in English again。即係話咧，你要氹人哋落搭買嘢嘅時候咧，你唔一定要話俾佢聽，我而家供緊你啦，你買啦。我而家可以話俾你聽，我而家供緊外國一啲好先進嘅嘢。OK， 我即係你永遠都唔會去到個國家，咁先可以引到你嚟買㗎嘛。而家正大部分嘅 luxury brands。即係如果要 sell 大陸人咧，都係咁樣 sell 嘅。中唔中啊 ？Okay, let me rephrase this. I'm just saying that when you try to sell to PRC customers, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to localize and adapt the damn thing to them. You can tempt them by saying that this is a very foreign brand, so we're going to use a foreign approach.
Okay, yeah. Good.
Okay, this is a very important question. There is two types of Western worship. Okay, one is towards European, and one is towards American. These two types of worshiping is very different. Those who are in favor of American worshiping, they're more into freedom, more into reality shows, more into, let's say, rawness. Okay, the feeling of being raw. Now, with European, okay, those who favor European, they prefer sophistication, right? You would see this even in the brands, okay? When you look at A&F versus some other European brands, you see this very obvious. The craftsmanship involved, the way they do branding is actually very different between European and American brands. And so my question to you now is Gucci an American brand or a European brand? When you don't have to answer me.
European.
You don't have to answer me.
What?
You don't have to answer me this question. You just have to know the answer to this question, and then we'll answer your question.
Yes.
I know it's funny because not many people know which goes with what. But if Gucci was not a European brand, it would be called Gucci, not Gucci, right? By spelling.
But do you think Gucci's image is becoming more and more American?
Okay, the question is, do you think that Gucci's brand image has become more and more American as we speak? Do you think so?
A little bit because guilty by Gucci.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little bit, maybe.
You're gonna have a hard time convincing me, right? You can look at Caroline's face, and you will see whether your answer works or not. Okay. Her question was, do you think Gucci is actually becoming more American as we speak? And I would say no. Okay. It will never become American. American has a very different culture of luxury. Okay. It's remotely so different from European. With European brands, especially luxury brands, everything is about a lifestyle, about that feeling, that sensation. With American luxury brands, it's more towards the actual, if you call, monetary value, social value that is attached to the brand. That's not necessarily a lifestyle. So there's a big difference.
Not necessarily like what? Not necessarily a what?
Lifestyle.
Right. So American, they don't do luxury brands in the form of a lifestyle. They don't do that much of that. Because they favor individualism. So there is no one lifestyle. But with Europe, everything is like, if it's luxury, then it is the luxury lifestyle. You don't have an if and you don't have a but. So for people who have actually been to Europe, you will know this already. Okay? It's either you're on the one-way street to heaven or you're down in hell. Question? 你諗唔諗到做咩 product？我而家其實 Okay, the purpose of this briefing, right, besides me answering all these questions, is help you formulate what product eventually you will do. So you need to be asking me questions that will help you decide which product you want to do. 唔緊要. This guy is saying that they want to focus on branding. Fine. I'm just as happy. Okay. They want to do the next collection of female handbags. Okay, the upcoming one. Okay. 公開嘅，因為呢個係 public briefing 嚟嘅。咁你想知啲咩？ Okay, this group is asking if they're doing the next collection of handbags for Gucci. In terms of the selection of celebrity, right? How would you choose it? What is the basis or criteria of choosing celeb? And my response to that is that it really depends on what that product is targeting about. Some handbags from Gucci are targeting the brand. Some products are not. Some products are really remotely for selling. So you need to find out whether it is a branding product or whether it's just a product to be sold. This is very different. But 男仔做 Gucci 真係好慘，尤其是如果你唔好 Gucci 或者你仲慘，你會發覺你去 retail store visit 嘅時候咧，個感覺怪怪地嘅。可以，你起碼男仔對標會熟啲啊嘛，因為。唔係，其實你做咩 product 咧，其實都唔重要。你最緊要知道你做完嗰個 product 之後咧，其實你對個 product 認唔認識，佢同邊啲人揼緊，你做啲咩先可以推到人去買 Gucci 嘅手機？揾到咩？呢個係 brand 嘅角度睇，因為佢而家做 product marketing，佢要考慮，但係佢唔需要話好專注 focus，因為呢個係 branding department 做啊嘛，唔係 product marketing department 做啊嘛。應該話咁講，佢講個 point 係佢真係如果個 brand 本身係有啲負面消息嘅，咁係會影響到你 product marketing 嘅。但係我而家假設性唔好咁複雜，我而家同佢講聽，你做 branding 就做 branding， 做 product marketing 做 product marketing， 明唔明白？Oh, sorry. Let me recap. They were asking, okay, if there was some negative connotations attached to a brand during a certain period of time, will it affect the way you do product marketing? My response to that is yes, it will affect it. But in the case of this final project, let's keep it simpler. So product marketing, branding. In the case of fragrance, I would still treat, well, yeah, you take either way. You choose your side, but do not use both sides. Otherwise, you go crazy.
I'm already crazy.
You can. You can.
But do branding is part of our objective.
If you do branding, stick with branding. And then if you do product marketing, then just do product
We
marketing.
need to establish the association between the brand.
Yes, that will be a very big challenge. I know you asked me this in the email already.
Yeah. Another question. There are so many consumers who buy Gucci's fragrance and buy LV's bag and buy Prada's clothes or something like that. And so many superstars also have this purchasing behavior. So is that kind of person, consumers can be our target market?
Celebrities who buy the Gucci bags,
Perfume. I mean,
perfume, no.
就是
Because celebrities, they buy it because the company paid them to buy it.
maybe, I mean, 就是 some news reports have reported that a celebrity who wear the LV's clothes.
Those are PR.
Those are PR.
Yes. The brand itself created that PR.
就是之前就说黄奕来香港看房子，就内地的一个女演员，然后她是就是那个报道就说她穿着就是全身上下就不同品牌的衣服，就是那个东西都是可以看出来的，也许就不是那些公司，就是那些奢侈品品牌专门去。
没有这么巧合，我告诉你。PR is very strategic. It appears in the most natural, unsuspected way so that you will believe it.
但是那么多品牌同时就在她就是说她打扮成一个阔太的形象。
但是合作而已啊，这么多一个品。Okay, guys, I think there is a misconception here. She asked a very interesting question. If a celeb, right, comes to Hong Kong wearing a full body of different brands of luxury, right? What is that? Is it that a coincidental event, or is it a very strategic movement, okay, by the brands? My response to that is a very well-planned strategic PR, okay, done by collaborative effort of different brands. Because Gucci as a brand, for example, right, it is not necessarily under the brand. There is so-called what we call brand groups. There's luxury brand groups. So certain groups of brands belong to one group, and they will do co-branding with each other to leverage on the effects. Do you understand what I'm saying now? So that explains what you were trying to tell me.
So can we choose that kind of consumer as our opinion leader or target market? Because we need to build not only build awareness of the brand, but also want to establish the loyalty to our brand. So
Okay. Now, her further question is, can we use such a celeb, right? A celeb that is going to wear the different luxury brands, okay, as a spokesperson or opinion leader for our brand in order to increase the awareness of the brand? My response to that is, unless your final project is doing branding, otherwise that should not be the focus of your campaign.
thank you. Are you kidding?
Okay. Okay, guys, another question popped up. If you guys want to do a new launch product, okay, something that's going to be coming up, okay, be very careful with two things. One is you will not have retail outlets to examine the consumer behavior or the actual product, the looks and feel of the product. Second of all, you will not have any previous TVC or marketing materials from that product. So to do a fully new upcoming launch or to be launched product is very risky for your final project. Because you have nothing, no information about it. Not even PR yet. Okay? Second of all, for this, what was the second question? Sorry. Oh yes. When you devise your media plan, okay, for your product marketing, okay, please do so as if you were really going to conduct the campaign. So regardless of when you hand in this project, okay, the timeline that you set for your media plan should reflect the exact timeline that you want to do the actual campaign. 明唔明白？即係話，如果你嗰隻 product 你諗住係2月推出嚟嘅話，就算你12月交呢份 product 俾我嘅話咧，你都會 set 個 timeline set 到2月嘅。即係視乎你想喺邊個月份同埋 target 幾耐，而去 set 個 timeline 出嚟。係啊，講點樣做呢個小孩就有呢個就係話有呢個潛在危機。你又唔知佢幾時出，又唔知道佢會唔會好似 iPhone 5咁樣咧 delay 半年先出。其實唔關事，因為最重點係嗰隻 product 出咗啫，你知唔知佢賣唔賣得？係咪賣得好好啊？定賣得唔好？賣得唔好就要做嘢㗎啦。其實咧最理想嘅話咧，如果喺實質工作環境嘅話咧，應該係要咁做嘅。不過好可惜嘅就係你哋冇足夠嘅資源咧同埋時間去俾你去咁樣玩法。因為第一你冇任何 resource， 即係話你冇任何 PPC， 冇任何 marketing material， 係嗰隻 product 出落去俾你做比較，或者俾你做 evaluation。咁你咪會即係好似好彷徨咁樣咯，都唔知喺邊度入手。同埋你得6個禮拜時間做啫嘛，所以你冇可能等到嗰隻 product 出。或者等到佢有多啲 PR 出，你先喐㗎嘛。所以做新 product 有一個潛在危機。得，其實我唔係咁死板你嗰個 timeline， 但係可能你 make it realistic 嘅，即係你唔好話我聽你嗰個 campaign 行足1年喎。即係連360日都行，咁咪死啦，係嘛？其實個自由度咧係好闊，視乎你覺得你要 market 幾耐，喺邊度 market 嘅邊啲攞先可以推到嗰隻 product， 咁就夠。
假如咧，我哋係想做個 product 係做標嘅，Gucci 嘅標嘅，係。咁但係佢喺 fashion 嘅 position， 佢喺標價嘅 position 已經係唔係唔少。咁個 branding， 我哋其他人嗰隻 product 咁啊，咁我哋要考慮嘅因素又係佢哋要考慮嘅因素。
會唔同嘅，因為點解咧？因為如果你做標而 Gucci 本身唔係標榜標嘅話咧，其實你有個難度，好大嘅難度就係、啲人諗起 Gucci， 第一唔會諗起標。係嘛？即係話你其實你最終要做嘅嘢咧就係 awareness， 係啦，即係未必去到可以 sell 到隻 product， 你要令到人知道 Gucci 嘅標有啲乜嘢咁好，點解我要買？開邊度有得買？係嘛？即係要做嗰係要做嗰班其實可以強化，但係你自己要好清楚了解 Gucci 本身嗰隻標係咪值得你咁樣去 market 先，定係佢求其砌咗隻標出嚟咧，即係人有我有咁樣，我就都好似 Dior 咁樣，Dior 都有標㗎，係啦。咁所以
我哋使唔使試一個佢究竟呢個 product 對 Gucci 嚟講究竟係咪一個好高有一個 profit 嘅個潛在？
其實呢個唔使估啦，我話咩？我已經可以答咗俾你，呢隻標咧唔賺錢嘅。呢個根本上咧就已經本身係一個 promotion 嘅 package 嚟嘅。即係話，身為一個 luxury brand， 其實佢有幾樣嘢咧，佢必然一定要有咧，佢先夠冚嘅 luxury brand。即係例如錢包、手袋、皮帶、錶，即係呢有幾項呢啲 accessories 係一定要有，你先可以為止，即係先至為一個 luxury brand。咁如果佢冇嘅話咧，即係如果假設間 Gucci 冇咗呢隻錶嘅話，佢咪會輸俾佢啲敵手咯。所以你要明白嗰隻錶。係啊。但係你要好清楚了解嗰隻錶本身 Gucci 出嚟嘅時候咧，佢個質量啦，各樣嘢咧，佢定位係咪要去真係要好過人哋啲錶先，定係人有佢有？ OK， 但係你記住喎，你而家唔係要改變嗰隻 product， 或者你淨係純粹 sell 佢現成嘅 product。唔係，如果你改 product 咧，有兩個難處。OK， 第一就係你要花好多嘅操勞作 ，OK， 去執嘢，去令到你誕生到嗰隻新嘅 product， 包括 packaging，OK， 包括嗰隻標本身嘅內容、個樣。OK， 你都全部呢度嚟裝真係，我就驚你哋唔夠時間去做咯。如果你真係咁樣做，你當新 product 推嘅話咧，我舉個贊成先。如果你有咁嘅時間啊，不過我可以話俾你聽，基於我經驗，6個禮拜咧，其實唔好話做新 product， 做舊 product 都好慢。所以你反而諗清楚，同埋 Gucci 有男裝係然之後淨係推一隻 product， 舉例啊，一開推男裝㗎，係啊，其實 Gucci 嘅男裝而家輸緊俾 Dior 㗎，可以話俾你聽。Okay, let me rephrase all this in English now so that you guys can know. What their concern was that they were going to do watch, okay, Gucci's watch. But as I told them, the existence of Gucci watch was not really because it's the best product on earth. It's because all the luxury brands have a watch. And so that in order for them to sustain their luxury positioning, they also need a watch. So I told them that if you were going to really do the watch, okay, there are two alternatives. One is you need to look at whether your watch is really better than the other competitors. And two is if you don't think so, if you don't think that the watch is better, then you need to revamp or redesign that watch in order to make it a product worth marketing. And I told them that within 6 weeks of time, you don't have that time to do it. time frame of 你個 launch 咧，應該係以真實時間，即係話你而家10月咁計嘅，咁你就一定要打我。佢未去到咁sophisticated，你記住咧，本身之間出嚟咧，佢唔係一啲好細心、好精緻嘅，佢係一啲淨係得個字，佢淨係知道 Gucci 係咩，佢淨係知道賣得越多我就越有錢，越有興趣講嚟㗎。其實咧，你哋喺 retail 真係睇一睇啲 sell 啲人。咁你就會好快知道咧，究竟有啲咩嘢咧係啲大陸人一聽就聽到入。 咁我諗你好唔清楚而家大陸同香港之間嘅移民局嘅關係。基本上佢哋而家有七日性㗎，係bắt唔到嚟到落到嚟香港。我諗你而家仲係停留緊咧喺啲90年代嘅大陸同香港之間關係。係啊，名牌店由幾點鐘開到幾點鐘，佢仲熟過你啊！所以你唔能夠低估呢啲大陸嘅客人。係，同埋記住錄影，錄同影。你揸住部 iPhone 周圍掃下啫嘛，鬼知你影唔影？其實冇影響嘅原因咧，係因為始終講到質量呢兩個字啊，其實都係歐洲 brand 勝於美國 brand， 淨係純粹講質量。
但唔係，我唔係講緊上邊嘅 brand， 而係美劇入邊嗰啲主角用好多，即係用好多 Gucci 或者用 Prada 呢啲牌子。冇用，因為歐洲咧始終係點講？歐洲牌子好多時都淨係揾翻歐洲嘅人去演繹咧，其實係有原因嘅。因為即係等同於人哋睇中國人同埋日本人，大家都係咁樣嘅黃黃地皮膚，眼蒙蒙地。但我哋睇日本人咧就好唔同啦，即係等同於如果美國人睇歐洲人咧，佢都覺得兩者係好唔同。Questions?
What did they say? What did you say to them?
Oh, sorry. Because they are doing something very different. Okay, guys, if you're still interested, listen to this, okay? They were asking about the fact that if there is this trend, okay, of having American celebrities, okay, wearing a lot of European luxury brand items, okay, per se. Will this affect or not affect, okay, the way we do marketing or the way we choose celebrities, okay, for Gucci? And my question saying is that no. Because just like when the Westerners, or including Americans, okay, look at Chinese and Japanese, they think that we are very alike, okay, in terms of our features and whatnot. But when we look at Japanese as Chinese, we think you are so far away and so different from us, okay? This is usually the case with cross-cultural perception. That's why what she's saying now, I said no. It won't affect the way we choose celebrities. Yes?
But what if, if they, for Europeans, they can recognize the difference between American faces and European faces. So it will affect the brand image in the Europeans.
To the Europeans. Yeah. But we're not selling to Europeans right now. We're selling to PRC people.
Why doesn't the brand?
You cannot stop someone from wearing a brand. You see what I'm saying?
But they use the American stars in their commercials.
This is very careful. When you market to Americans, because Americans have such a high level of pride, national pride, of we are American and we are the best. That's why if you don't use American celebs, you lose that cultural relevance to Americans. That's when you do product marketing in US. But in Hong Kong, who gives a shit about whether it's American or Europe? I just want the brand, especially among PRC customers. Questions? You guys seem lost. You seem more quiet than usual. Is there something wrong? Normally you are more verbal. What's happening here? Okay. There is this case when there's an American wearing a lot of European brand items on their body. This group was asking me whether this will affect, okay, the way we choose our celebrities, okay? Because if a lot of American celebrities wear European brands, then the brand association between American celebs and the European brand items will be stronger. So that's why they're asking that question. And my answer to them is no.
like appeal to them. So it's like you piss them off and they love you. So what's the point of doing consumer insights?
Okay, this is a very good question. She's saying that even we know that we're targeting PRC customers, but we're trying to not market directly to them. So it looks very ironic. But the thing is, let me use this very concrete example. When you see a very hot guy on the street that you would like to date and kiss, right? You will not go directly up to him and kiss him and ask him to kiss you back. You will try to go beat around the bush and dance in your bikinis, okay? Whatever you do, okay? To make him attracted to you first. That's the similar strategy when you do PRC marketing.
So it's only about the reach rather than the message itself.
No, it's about getting them to buy eventually. Right? Because when you market, you want to drive sales.
Yes, but how about drive sales by not appealing to them?
No, we're appealing to them. We're just not talking directly in their face. We're appealing to them by saying that we are still a very foreign brand. We are not a localized brand. It's something that you would really love to have. That's what we're trying to say.
How about establishing their loyalty to our brand?
They will never be loyal. They're not here to be loyal. You will never hear a PRC customer saying that I will only buy Gucci. You will only see PRC customers saying, I want everything that's expensive. Done. They don't even know how to pronounce the name. Salvatore Ferragamo. Okay? They can't even say that properly. The only reason why they're buying is because of the status of the brand. You see what I'm saying now?
It's hard for me to accept that situation.
Go and talk to some of the sales in the retail stores and you will know. Because most of the time when they buy 40 or 50 handbags, it's not for themselves. It's for gifts.
I got it.
You got it, right?
Yeah.
So therefore they don't care whether it's from Gucci or LV.
Gifts can be a part of the expression of loyalty.
It could be, but then the thing is, to them, right? Sending an LV bag and sending a Gucci bag or sending a Prada bag, the difference is very minimal.
But it can show my unique taste.
If Chinese people want to show taste, they don't show it with foreign brands. They show it with local expensive brands. Just as the government officials, okay, the high-ranked ones, they usually buy those very expensive national China brand stuff, such as alcohol, cigarettes, okay? That represents the taste. Buying foreign brands is purely saying that I'm giving you something expensive, so take it.
So we don't need to take loyalty into consideration.
You will never be able to create that loyalty within these customers, at least not now. Maybe in the future, but not now. So you have to really accept the fact that right now you're really trying to drive sales and not loyalty.
I think it's unhealthy for branding.
Well, it's been an unhealthy phenomenon for you to have a good majority of your business owing to PRC customers. It's already unhealthy for a global luxury brand. You have now about 65% of the sales coming from PRC customers. This is already unhealthy, but you can't change that. You cannot say, because I have too much PRC business, I'm going to kick you away. You won't say that, right? So this is a reality you have to accept as a luxury brand. The only thing that they can do to protect it from becoming a more China brand is by doing more branding elsewhere in other countries.
But there still exist so many loyalty consumers. How?
Actually, yes, they are, but then within the Hong Kong market, that constitutes a very, very niche market that does not generate a whole lot of sales.
Oh my god. Okay. Thank you.
One thing very relaxed. I think it's hard for us to take photos or even stay in the store photo hours.
Well, you will find your way and you will take your turns. I can just tell you that. I've done it, so can you. I've been in Gucci for 6 odd hours with those CLI. It was so unbearable.其實唔係有冇錢啊 係你要扮到自己係真係一個 customer，你周圍行、周圍問、周圍睇，佢點都一定要 serve 你㗎。咁佢唔理呢一回事，最好唔好理你添，咁你咪可以慢慢影咯。唔係，佢唔俾影真嘅就係話你自己用方法，我唔理咩方法都好啦 ，OK， 就周圍掃下掃下咁樣。我其實都之前都係咁樣做㗎。其實同埋都唔使點樣去驚，因為佢唔可以禁止你去用你部電話，同埋佢一埋到嚟你唔係死㗎嘛，佢一埋你咪熄機咯，係嘛？因為你諗下，所有啲大型嘅 magazine 咧，會影到 Gucci Store 裡面嗰啲內籠咧 ，there's a reason for that， 因為有人入過去影過嘛。
佢哋點影到咧？
揸住部機周圍影咯。
佢哋咪報警啊嘛。
咩啊？
佢哋買報警點算？
報警咪走咯。
咁都得。
講完啦，走完啦。The luxury brand stores, they will prevent you from taking photos, but they will not cause a catastrophe at the site, at the scene, to stop you, because that is poor branding, right? So if you ever got caught taking photos, then just leave the damn store and go back maybe in half an hour.
Stop coming.
So one question, what's your view of the rising like middle class consumers in mainland China? Not like buying 20 bags at a time, but then they buy one in several months.
Those people, from a luxury brand perspective, I don't really give a shit to. Because why? Because those customers will buy the brand on and off, even without my marketing. Because they will hear from their friends and all that pressure, and they will buy. You try it. You ask some of these guys who actually buy, for example, one luxury brand item every 3 or 4 years. In actual fact, they actually never read any luxury brand magazines. They just know that this is a luxury brand, and they will buy it when they have the money. If you talk about middle class. OK 啦，有抌低咗啦，你真係慘啊！你幾個兄弟都抌低咗你。Originally, there was only 2 groups taking Gucci on, and now there's more groups taking Gucci on. No. Panasonic is the group with the most people. Most groups. It shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't be. Let me double check, okay? But according to my knowledge, it shouldn't be. Yes? Caroline's becoming very impatient, so if you have questions, you better get them out of your mouth. She's doing this non-verbal vegetative behavior already, so move it, girls.
Do you have more questions?
Yes, let them take charge and you can go home. 好，仲有冇問題？係太 secret 啦，咁你用啲婉轉啲嘅方法問，或者用一啲有策略性嘅問法啦。我暴露咗添啊！Okay, guys, this is a briefing session, so this is a strategic steering directional type of meeting. You do not have to finalize everything right now, and even if as you work on the project you have more questions, you can email me first. If I cannot resolve it in an email, then we make an appointment. Yes? The briefing session is really, okay, let me introduce this concept to you guys. During a client briefing session, basically what you're trying to do is, not only are you trying to ask questions, you're also trying to ask questions that will make the other teams review the strategy. But none of you have done that yet.
还没有到那个境界。
See? Because you need to be able to find out what the other party is doing. Because they are not going to tell you. This is your only platform in which you can do that. 所以你要引人，即係你要引蛇出洞啊！你明唔明啊？喺中文嘅意思就係話，你要引到佢講一啲佢平時唔會講嘅嘢。Because this is integrated strategic communication, so it's everything has to be strategic.
Yeah, I still.
轉翻做車啊！叫你 The Volkswagen branding briefing session has come and gone already. 咩啊？你會蝕得好緊要，你會蝕得好緊要，你信我。同埋 Volkswagen 咧，女仔做咧冇乜好處，因為咧而家做緊 Volkswagen 嗰班男仔咧都喺度拗緊頭。咁就要睇你個理由係乜嘢啦。咩？你話俾你就話俾我聽，你有幾熟咁 Volkswagen 係咪？你肯定先。嗱，如果你覺得你係好熟嘅，冇問題。但係你記住呢樣嘢，我俾得呢3個 brand 出嚟過咧，即係我同呢3個 brand 都做過好耐嘅嘢㗎啦。咁即係話咧，你其實做邊一個 brand 咧，我都會有同等嘅機會去挑骨頭。不過我只不過話俾你聽，既然你已經揀咗 Gucci， 同埋你已經諗咗 Gucci 嗰條路嘅話咧，唔好食回頭草，冇好處嘅，因為個 briefing 已經完咗啦嘛，真係完晒㗎啦。你自己諗諗先，我唔干擾你嘅思維。係啦，我唔干擾你。問題。唔係，起碼你自己諗到一個 product 係點做嘅，係因為我都話呢個 meeting 分2個 purpose。第一就係你要好有策略性去諗到對方講嘅嘢出嚟。第二就係你問一啲方向性嘅大方向嘅嘢，有冇錯嘅先。咁呢4年頭先都問咗好多呢啲問題。因為我又唔會話俾你聽，你揀 media 邊啲 media 先係最好嘅，呢啲係你哋嘅工作嚟㗎嘛。同埋有啲實地嘅嘢，你真係要做嘅，諗多都唔得，其實。你可以揾我，但係咧，我會 prefer 你用 email， 唔好再嘥時間 for consultation。unless 你發覺嗰個問題係一定要面對面傾先傾到嘅，係，因為你記住而家得翻6個禮拜都冇添，咁所以你啲時間好密嘅。Yeah, question. Hey guys, question. Someone's posting a question.
Can you explain why they choose Li Bingming as their spokesperson in detail? Because maybe we want to continue to use her as our.
Say that again. Repeat that. Repeat that.
Why Gucci choose Li Bingming as Asia Pacific area spokesperson in detail? Because you see that is not very common. I know that, but I only know the applying reason.
Okay, let me tell you the reason. Because the brand manager in charge of Asia Pacific had a very special dealing with the model agency who was responsible.
So.
是一个 administration 的问题，不是一个策略的问题。
So, if you want to make a big idea, it is not wise enough to continue use Li Bingming as our celebrity.
I would definitely not use an Asian celebrity. Definitely not.
But you have 就是金沙咀的 Gucci 店已经把李冰冰的巨幅海报好几张已经都亮出来了，而且所有的网上的全都是他的。
你说的一点都没有错，不过 unfortunately Gucci 的 headquarter 很生气，而且这个 campaign 会很快就除掉，因为他们觉得这个是一个错的策略。
对，因为确实我看网上评价论坛确实褒贬不一。
网站评价的不是 Gucci， 网站评价大部分的都是来自于那个 celeb 的一些吸引力。对，你懂我意思吗？
就很尴尬了。
所以
把 Gucci
and
给晾一边
when that happens, that's very dangerous for luxury brand because that celeb almost take over your brand, cover your brand, and most luxury brands do not want that to happen. That's why they change the celebrity and spokesperson every now and then to make sure that no one celebrity will overtake the brand. 要很小心。
因为之前一直考虑说在哪里选代言人的问题，包括就是想选用如果内地的或者是为亚太地区都能接受的。
而且你要晓得，如果一个 fragrance 你选了一个 Asian model for that particular product, especially in terms of fragrance, then what will you do in US and Europe?
比如说，就是刘雯，就是那个超模刘雯，她是比较国际化的一个形象的。
应该是这样说。What is considered international in the eyes of the international is when that person is not Asian, not African, and not Hispanic. That means you're only left with Americans or Europeans. 这个才叫 consumer perception of international. When you say this is a world-class university, you will only go to US and Europe to pick out the professors and invite them to come. You will never go to another China university to pick them out to come. That's international.
我知道，但是就是像刘雯，她也有很多就是国外的奢侈品牌，还有一些就是找她代言或者找她拍写真啊什么的。
也是，不过你要了解本身 Gucci 这个 brand， 如果这样再继续这样做下去的话，它就会自讨没趣，因为始终因为 Gucci 它国外的形象一般都是没有 Asian 这个 element 的。这个会很危险，真的很危险。
如果要是说我们就只是分着做，各自为政那种，欧洲区叫你不要用，
很难，就是其实说执行上很难，因为 Gucci 的开口表，他一定要 sign approve 这个 execution， 而且 in reality 这个执行上，他一定不会提出来，对。所以我就要告诉你一些真实的情况，然后你在这真实的框框里面再选一个，比较。可以执行的一个方向。
谢谢。
对，因为做 luxury brand 通常都会碰到这种问题 ，not only just Gucci， 花的也会这样子。Should we or should we not use a Chinese celebrity or Asian celebrity？ 对，经常发生问题。
因为有时候我会看那些时尚杂志和那些模特那些书上面，他们会就是说会多就很多中国面孔的出现，甚至把它当做封皮。
你要了解，有时候你在杂志上看到一些 print 一两张 print 你不能当真，因为那个可能是一个我们叫一个 catalog 或 minor insert， 就是说它不是一个整体的 campaign， 它只是一个 one time one print go。所以要看这些 print 也要很小心的去分析，究竟是到底是什么回事，会使用那个 celebrity。因为有时候，如果比方说我用了它做一个 celebrity for this print ad， 后来我发觉她怀孕了，我当然要马上把它撤掉，你懂我意思吗？所以这个就是那个 media 的 selection 的那个厉害性跟 celebrity。
Any question？
好嚟。你哋我知道仲有啲問題係頂住咗喉嚨病㗎嘛，得冇問題。阿仔，你哋兩個，你 OK 啦嘛 ？OK 嗰啲你就走得啦，唔使有我啦，係唔 OK 嗰啲嘅啫。
What extent do we need to exclude the creative?
What extent? Minimal and as minimal as possible because you don't have enough time. You need Photoshop, you need Premiere, you need Final Studio Max. You don't have time for that. Give me the tone and feel of your execution.Give me examples of previous campaigns that is similar to what you want to do. Done. 不然的话，你睡也做不完，我告诉你。肯定的。